Okay, so what I'm going to look at now is trinomials. Trinomials means when you have three terms, because if you look at the word tri, that means three. So when things turn out to be like this, how would we factorise them? 7x plus 6, so x squared plus 11x plus 24. How are we going to factorise that? So we have to go to work backwards to put those into brackets. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at what's called monic, and monic is when the number in front of the x is a 1. So you might just want to write that down in your book if you're making notes. So x times x is x squared, x times 2 is 2x, 3 times x is 3x, and 3 times 2 is 6. Okay, and then you've got like terms there, so you've got x squared plus 5x plus 6. Now, if I now asked you that was expanding, but if I asked you to go backwards and asked you to factorise this, then you already know what the answer is, and you'd expect that x plus 3, x plus 2 is the answer. So what I want you to do is look at that and look at, if you didn't know that, what would be a way of getting that answer? Now, if you have a look at this and you look at that 6, how did that 6 actually form? That 6 came by doing 3 times 6. So it was actually the product of the two numbers, 3 times 2, which is 6. This one in the middle, the 5x, that came by doing 3x plus 2x. 3x plus 2x, which is 5x. So that's actually the sum of the two numbers is 5. So x times x, that's your x squared, that's where that comes from. So when we're going backwards, what we're actually doing is we're looking for two numbers that multiply to give the last number. So we want two numbers that multiply to give 2 for this one and add to give 3. Okay, so if you start off and you look at the number 2, you can go, well, 1 times 2 is 2, and 1 plus 2 is equal to 3. So when you factorise that, that would be x plus 2, x plus 1. Okay, so looking at a different one, let's go 7x plus 6. So in this one, we want two numbers that multiply to give the other and have a sum of that one. So product of 6 and the sum equals 7. Okay, so if you look at 6, the factors are 6. You could go 2 and 3, but that doesn't add to give 7. Or you could go 1 and 6. Yep, that adds to give 7. So it's x plus 1, x plus 6, because 1 times 6 is 6, but 1 plus 6 is 7. Okay, so let's just try a couple more. So you got x squared plus 11x plus 24. Try to factorise that, have a think about it. X squared plus 9x plus 18. Okay, so the product is 24 and the sum is 11. Okay, so 24 actually has lots of factors. 1 and 24, 2 and 12, 3 and 8, 4 and 6. Notice how I'm going through systematically. 5's a no-go, and 6, I've already done that one. So there's 1, 2, 3. There's 4 different possibilities. So the sum's 24. We want the one that's going to give us, product is 24, the one that's going to give us a sum of 11. So if you look at that one, that's going to be like 3 and 8. Okay, so that means that it'll be x plus 3, x plus 8. You can always check it by expanding it as well. You go x squared, that's good. 3 times 8 is 24. 3x plus 8x is 11. Yep, that works. Okay, so this one, we got a product equals 18, and we have a sum equals 9. Okay, so 18, we have 2 and 9, 2 and 6, 2 and 9, sorry, that was right. 1 and 18, 3 and 6. If we look at this one, that's the one that gives you 9. X plus 3, x plus 6. Okay? All right. Now, they are all positives. We need some that have negatives in them. So if we're looking at factorising these, so let's go x squared minus 5x plus 6, x squared minus 9x plus 14, and x squared minus 8x plus 15. Okay, so if you look at this, the product is 6 and the sum's minus 5. Product is 14, sum's 9. Okay, now there's a funny thing with the product, all right? If your product is positive, see how here your product is positive? Your sum will determine the sign of your thing. Now, if the product is positive, there's two possibilities. You have a plus and a plus, or a minus and a minus. Okay, so you have a plus and a plus, or a minus and a minus. So if you do have a plus and a plus, then, you know, your brackets are going to be x plus, x plus. But if you have a minus and a minus, your brackets are going to be x minus, x minus. So you have to just have a look at which one it's going to be. This is determined by the sum. Now, if it was plus plus, then that means that your sum would have had to have been positive. And if it was minus minus, that means your sum would have had to be negative. Because the only way that you are going to get a negative, the only way that you are going to get a positive sum is if you add two positives. And the only way you're going to get a negative sum is if you add two negatives, okay? So let's have a look at these then. So if we come over here, the product is 6, but the sum is minus 5. So you go 1 and 6, 2 and 3. Now, if we look at that, 1 and 6, you've got to get minus 5. The only one that is going to get minus 5 would be minus 2 minus 3. So it's be x minus 2, x minus 3. This one here, product equals 14, sum equals 9, minus 9. So you've got to get a sum of minus 9. So if we did 2 and 7, if we did minus 2 minus 7, because it's got a positive product, it would have to be a negative sum. It would have to be a minus and a minus. So it would be x minus 2, x minus 7. And the last one, product is 15, sum is minus 8. So it could be x minus, so we've got 5 and 3. You're going to have to go minus 5, minus 3 in order to get minus 8. So it's minus 3, minus 5. Okay. So far, this is what we've done. All right. See if you can factorise these. You could stop the video and have a go at them. So factorising this, x squared plus 7x plus 12. X squared minus 9, x squared minus 4x plus 3, and 4x squared minus 36y squared. Okay, so have a look at those and have a go. Stop the video if you want and have a go. Now I'm just going to run through them. So this one's got product and sum. So the product is 12, the sum is 7. So that's going to be x plus two things that multiply to give 12. Could be 2 and 6, 3 and 4, 1 and 12. So you want to get a sum of 7, so that would have to be 3 and 4, because 3 plus 4 is 7, but 3 times 4 is 12. Okay, if you're looking at the next one, that's only got two terms, so you're looking for the difference of two squares. Are they both square numbers with a minus in the middle? Yes, they are. So it'll be like it's like a minus b, a plus b. So it's x minus 3, x plus 3. All right, looking at the next one, product equals 3, sum is minus 4. So two things that multiply to give 3 would be 3 and 1. So it'd have to be minus 3 minus 1 to give minus 4. So it's x minus 3, x minus 4 will be your factors. And the last and final one, You could do it like this, right? But if you do it like this, you've still got a factor of 2 in here, in all those brackets. So you haven't fully factorised. So that one's not fully factorised. So what you're better off doing is you always need to do the number one rule, which is take out a common factor first. And you notice that there's a common factor of 4. And then you get 4x minus 3y, x plus 3y. Okay. Alright, so there's just one more step to go in the monic factorisation. Monic, remember, that's when the number in front of the x squared is a 1, like this one here. What we need to do now is we need to look at when the product is a negative. Now, when the product is the negative, then the signs of the two numbers have to be a plus and a minus. So your brackets have to end up being like this. Okay. The plus, if the sum is a plus, then basically it will go with the bigger number. Because when you're doing it this, when the two signs are different, you're looking at the difference between the two numbers instead of the sum. Now, if the sum was a negative, then so if the sum was a plus, then the bigger number would be plus. If the sum was the negative, then the bigger number would have to be negative, because you've got to go down more than what you come up. So basically, if you have a negative product, so if that's a minus, so let's just use this example. We have that, that's what we have here. Then if you look at that, you go, okay, the product is minus 7, but your sum, and you look at your sum is 6. As soon as you get your product is minus 7, then the signs of the two numbers have to be different. So that 6 is actually the difference between the two numbers. Now, the only two things that multiply to give 7 are 7 and 1. One has to be a negative, one has to be a positive. Now, I want to get a plus 6. So it'd have to be plus 7 minus 1 to get a plus 6. So that means that the factors would be x plus 7, x minus 1. Now let's just check on that. So you get x squared minus x plus 7x minus 7, which is x squared plus 7x. Oops, not minus. Straight. Silly me. This one's totally wrong. Can you ignore that? Okay, what I was telling you wasn't a mistake, but what I've done is that should actually be 6. That should be minus 6, and the sum should be 7. Otherwise, sorry, what did I have? Okay, so I have made a mistake. So the product should be minus 6, and the sum should be plus 5. Okay, so let's look at this. Two things that multiply to give minus 6 but add to give 5. I don't want to have to do the whole video again. So I'll just go with it, and I'll give you another example. Okay, so two things that multiply to give minus 6 but add to give 5. You could have gone 2 and 3, or you could have gone 6 and 1, but the two numbers have to have a different sign because you've got to get a negative product. So that if you look at this, you could go minus 2 plus 3. You're not going to get 5. You're doing it that way. So if we now look at this and we go, if we get minus 6 plus 1, that will give you a minus 5. So then if we went plus 6 minus 1, that gives you a plus 5. So the two factors would be x plus 6, x minus 1. Okay. Now, if we just have another look, and look at another one then, x squared minus x minus 12. So we're going to have a look at that. So here the product would be minus 12, and that's a 1, so the sum is minus 1. Okay, so two things that multiply to give 12, you could go 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4, 4 and 3, so I'm repeating myself, they're my possibilities. Now I've just got to get my signs right. So I want to get a negative product. So I could have minus 1 plus 12, or even plus 12 minus 1. Neither of those is going to give me a sum of 1. The only one that has a chance is the 3 and the 4. So you go plus 3 minus 4 minus 1, or minus 3 plus 4 plus 1. So it's going to be the first option, plus 3 minus 4, because you get minus 1. And also, if you look at that, the plus 3 times minus 4 gives you minus 12. So the factors are going to be x plus 3, x minus 4. And once again, it wouldn't matter if you put x minus 4, x plus 3 as well. Either of those are exactly the same thing. Okay, so just have a go at factorising these. I'm just going to mix them up again. X squared minus 4x minus 12. X squared plus 3x minus 18. X squared minus 8x x plus 12 and 4, x squared plus 5x plus 6. Okay, so look at the first one. The product here equals minus 12. The sum equals minus 4. So you could go 2, 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4. So we're trying to actually get minus 4. So the only one that's got a chance is the 2 and the 6. If we did plus 2 and then we minus 6, we get minus 4. So it's going to be x plus 2, x minus 4. Okay, we're looking at this one. Product is minus 18. Sum is plus 3. So when I look at that, the only one that's got a chance, I could go 2 9s are 18, 3 6s are 18. To get 3, we could do plus 3 minus 6, but that gives you minus 3. So swap the signs. Minus 3 plus 6 gives you 3. So it's minus 3 plus 6. And we look at the next one. Product equals 12, sum equals minus 8. So here go 2 and 6. Yep, I could get minus 8 out of there because I go minus 2 minus 6. Minus 2 minus 6, because minus 2 minus 6 is plus 12. And finally, product of 6, sum is 5, plus 2 and plus 3. And there are your factors.